Today's the day to be the absolute champion of the smoker. We've got a wonderful, beautiful brisket right here. Super pumped to be cooking this bad boy off. Now, if you've not cooked brisket before, there's a couple things that you do need to know. First thing is you're going to get what you pay for. So yes, there are some lower priced briskets that are in the market. However, don't take the bait. You're going to want to buy something that's a little bit more quality. This right here is an upper choice brisket. I like it because it's very breed specific, meaning that, you know, there's lots of different breeds of cows out there. So Hereford, of course, everyone's heard of Angus. There's Holstein, there's Brahmas, there's all these different mixes. And a lot of farmers pick and choose different breeds to mix together. I like 100% Angus, and that is what Braveheart is chasing after. I am not sponsored by them, but I will leave a link in the description down below if you want to check it out, because you can order Braveheart to be delivered right to your door. Again, a great product. I'm not sponsored by them. I just really believe in the product. Now, before we can get this into this mega smoker, we need to trim it up, get it cleaned up and ready to go for us. So let's kind of knock that out super quick. So this brisket has been wet aged for 35 days. So it's got a nice little, it's actually, I find it a pleasant funk. It's kind of like blue cheese, but that's not a bad thing. Aging in meat it's a necessary process. You need rigor mortis to kind of go through. So we're going to start kind of trimming off I don't like all this excessive meat right here. Now, this is not waste. What we're going to end up doing is putting this into the smoker as well to act as a smoked tallow. So don't feel like I'm being super, super wasteful. You don't really want to eat any of this stuff anyways. We really had to be honest with each other. But I like to put it back into the smoker inside of a cast iron pan. That's going to give us some smoked tallow. So whenever we go to wrap this bad boy, we'll have plenty of fat that we can wrap it with. If you don't use it up, then you've got some extra fat to cook your vegetables and stuff in, which of course we got to cook all these amazing, amazing vegetables. Of course, we got to make some amazing sides to go with this brisket, or it wouldn't be a good Southern barbecue. You know, you don't want to be a bad host. Don't be scared to be aggressive with the trim either. Like so many people, you know, they get like, oh, that's waste. It's like, you know, there's other uses for this. So if you grind your own burgers, again, I like making tallow out of it. You know, it's not waste. It'll go to something. It's just not that great to, you know, have all that fat and sinew in your brisket, right? You want a super tender. Your flat, that's right here. And this is the head right up here. If you were in like competition, you would use this right here. This is the chunk that you would give to the judges. This right here is delicious. You've got these two muscles kind of, you've got one grain going this way, another grain kind of going like this. And so whenever we go to actually cut, you'll see we're going to split this in half right there on that seam. But what we got to do is now start getting our seasoned up and ready to go. Now, I'm a very straightforward person when it comes to the actual seasoning that I put on my brisket. I don't like a whole bunch of fluff. I know a lot of people who will go and put onion powder, garlic powder, salt, cumin, chili powder, and they're after, you know, a bunch of flavor, but honestly, they end up covering up the beef. I like that Texas style where you're only thing you're really tasting is like salt, pepper, and smoke, and just tons of beef. And that's what I'm after. So I do mine in Texas style. I got my own little twist on it, but we're going to start with our pepper mix first. 50% black pepper, 25% kosher salt, 25% seasoning salt. My wife's Canadian. She's never seen seasoned salt before, apparently. This was something that she struggled to find in the grocery store for me yesterday. I'll make sure I'll have links down below for all the products that I'm using. Everything from the beef, the knives that I use, the cutting boards, everything. Everything will be in the links down below. So don't feel like you gotta, you know, stress on it too much. All right, so I did 1 full cup of black pepper. half a cup of kosher, half a cup of seasoning salt. Now your next option is binder or no binder. It's the great debate. I prefer no binder. I like going straight onto the meat. If you're doing it right, you know, the meat should adhere to the meat really well. And we're going to season heavy. All right, so don't be skimpy on it. You know, don't feel like you gotta. Now's not the place to save sodium. Remember, this is seasoning all the way through, and then as you flip and cook and everything else, some of this is gonna fall off. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm gonna let this sit here. I'm gonna let it get room temp, which today is about 65 degrees. It's the perfect smoking weather today. Super excited about it. So while we do that, we're gonna finish getting our Grand smoker up. I'm using I like to say the old school smoker, cinder block smoker. This is how I like to do it here around our farm. And for me, it's always had good results. So it's never failed me. I like Traegers, I like green eggs, but there's something fun about doing it old school. Now, normally if we were doing a whole pit smoke, we would stick to our corners, 1, 2, 3, 4. That way we can cook those shoulders and butts first. But today, on our menu today, we've got brisket, pulled pork, and bacon, or curing out some bacon. So this is, we're gonna do an even layer right across the center, and that'll be able to give us a nice even cook. So I'll start with charcoal, and it's already running up nice. And then we're going to smother it out with a fire, with the lids and everything. And it's going to cool it down, and it's going to be delicious, man. It's going to be delicious. So all we're doing now is just letting it kind of chill out for a minute. I've got about probably 15, 20 minutes still left for this meat to chill. What I'm going to do is get my thermometers and everything ready so I can be meat temp checking. Finally, we have reached our 275 degrees. Grab my brisket. That's at room temp. And then we're just going to slide it right in here on it. Remember, we're also going to take all of our beef tallow, all that fat. So put it in here. Or render all this out. I'm not really wanting to include any of those sinew pieces. Trying to kind of keep those out. But all of this will be delicious. And I'm just going to chunk this in here on the corner. I don't want to put this on direct heat. Just kind of want this in the corner. And then last thing, let's set our probe. So we are tracking our meat. That's it. Our brisket is on. Our tallow's on. Now it's just managing the fire, making sure that we're cooking at a consistent 250 to 275 degrees. We'll cook it like this probably for the next about 6 hours. It's really not about temperature or it's not about time. It's not about time. It is about making sure that we stay consistency on the temperature, rendering that fat as necessary. And then again, we'll feel it on the touch when it's time to wrap up. And then we'll finish it probably the last 2 hours wrapped up. And from there, it'll go into a cooler. And it'll make sure that that carryover cook is going to be absolutely on point. If you got any questions about the OG smoker, there is a video in the description down below on how I built this thing up. This is my 10th cook on this thing, and it's consistent, man. It's old school. Yeah, it'd be easier to cook on a Traeger, but I kind of like it. So it is time to start kind of checking our temperatures and getting everything locked in. So I have a super handy dandy tool that I like to use. This is a ThermPro. It has 4 notches in there, so I'm able to check temperatures of 4 items at a time. So one will be for the ambient temperature of the smoker, and then my other 3 can go to different chunks of meat. So this brisket, it's obviously going to cook at a different temp than pork butts and different temps than the pork belly. So what I can do is I can set temperatures in here that's going to flag it. So whenever it gets to a certain temp, it's going to beep, make a bunch of noise, let me know. And then what's also super cool about this, is that it comes with this. This allows you, with as long as you're within like 150 feet, you can have this on you. I kind of clip it on to me, but it gives you your temperatures and everything here. And we'll put this in live action today. If you are an avid person who likes to smoke meats, you like to be in the kitchen, I use this in the house. I use it out here. This is one of the top items that I recommend, having a great ThermPro that you can keep your meats and everything, all your temperatures checked, especially when you're using something like this. Electric, like the Traegers, are a little bit more stable in their temperature, but this can swing in temperatures very easily. So it's very important that we are keeping track of it, and this is how we're going to do it. And then it's going to keep all of that in check for me. So exactly what we're looking for. It's got a little stand on it. So as I'm working over here, I'm about to be making some collard greens and all my stuff. I've got this right over here off to the side. So I'm keeping track 100% of what's going on in this smoker while I am cooking away, doing my thing. Brisket has finally reached our 160 degrees. It is firm. We are getting into the stall. So we are going to quickly wrap this up. I'm going to use foil. Butcher paper works really well. We're going to get it wrapped up, though. We are finally done with our brisket cook. As you can see, it is the next day. So as a recap, let's walk through what we did. So we trimmed and cleaned our brisket. We seasoned it up, let it get to room temp. We did all that. While it's getting room temp, we set up our smoker. We set it to 250 degrees. The seasoning mix, again, all that recipe and everything, of course, is down below, so don't feel like you missed much. We put it on our smoker. We let it go for the first 4 hours completely untouched. And then after that, then we kind of came through with a spritz of apple juice and apple cider vinegar to spray it. Just kind of around on the flat end to help keep it from drying out. At the 6 hour mark, we wrapped it up, and then we finished it at about roughly 8 o'clock last night, which is a little after dark for us to kind of complete this video. I did have some people though kind of come and help themselves to the brisket a little bit. It is that good. Obviously that makes you feel like 100% that people can't wait to break into your brisket. That lets you know that it is juicy. We've got every single thing that we're looking for on this brisket, and I can't wait to show you. So this is a cut off the head end. We're bringing it in a little closer for us. So right here on this head end, look how we still have a nice little layer of pink right here. Notice that red ring that goes around over the top. That's that beautiful smoke ring we're looking for. We didn't add any pink salts or anything like that, so we did not cheat this at all. That lets us know that it is going to be a really, really good cut. Look how, I don't know if you can see that glistening the way it is over here in the sun in real life, but it's just an absolutely perfect, juicy cut. Let's give it a taste. Wow. So it's just a very straightforward, super beefy flavor. You get a great accent from that black pepper, really gives it a nice little spice to it. The combination of the seasoned salt plus the kosher salt, it seasons it all the way through. We got such a perfect crust around it that it seasons it up so perfectly. It's my first time doing a whole brisket on the pit smoke, and I gotta admit, this very well might be my new way that I cook brisket. Typically, I put it in an electric smoker or an offset, but this might be it. This might be the secret that no one talks about. I hope you enjoyed this video just as much as I did making it, not just because I got to have an excuse to eat brisket, but I love videos like these where we really get hands-on and break down the product. My name is Jonathan Boyd. This is Deep South Foodies. Now, before you leave, because I know the tendency is to dip out, I've got amazing sides that went along with this. So if you want to see the full setup of everything that we ate, make sure that you click the video right here, and that's going to help you set up. And now, if you're interested in seeing more meats, you want to see, Jonathan, I want to double down on that sweet barbecue you be doing over there, make sure you click over this way. And that's going to help you see more barbecue and stuff like we did just today right here on this pit. There's pulled pork. There's going to be sausages that we're recording next. There's all kinds of amazing things that we're working on. So again, make sure you hit these 2 videos right here on choose your own adventure, if you will. And we'll see you on the next video right now.